Welcome to another video, guys. Um, I know it may be a little unexpected to hear me speak, even though I've only done 2 videos, but yeah, I just figured it would be a good idea to do a voiceover for a change. I am back making another Karambit, and this one is for a customer who is a personal friend of mine, and I'm going to sell it to him for $150. It's made of 1095 high carbon steel, and yeah, I know I just did a Karambit, not really just anymore, but in terms of my uploads, I just did a Karambit, and I guess just a lot of people like Karambits. He helped me design this, I drew it, he told me stuff he wanted on the knife, and so I'm making it. Are you ready to give me 150 for it? I'll just be making small comments throughout the video. In this profiling portion where I grind it to shape, soon here you'll see a part that isn't sped up. I just really want, this is a part, just look how fast my belt grinder removes material. It's crazy. Just completely destroys it. And the reason for that is it's a 2 horsepower belt grinder that spins a wheel that has 5 inches of diameter at 3,450 RPM with a fresh 40 grit belt. So in other words, it's a monster. Here you see me drilling the finger hole, kind of struggling to get it set up. If you pay close attention, you'll see my drill press kind of struggling. I think that's both because I need a new drill press and a new step bit for my drill press. It's kind of hard to catch, but it just did it there. Probably do it again pretty soon. There, it did it again. But yeah, probably time for a new drill press. This one has served me pretty well. I think I've probably had it for 5 years at this point. You will also notice, for if you pay attention to what the knife looks like before I pulled it away there, the whole shape of it changed because I kind of may have messed up a little bit and not centered the hole properly. But multiple people have told me that in my other 2 videos the most boring part was the bevel grinding. So you see here I tried a different sort of transition where it's just a bunch of jump cuts, and I really messed up on this one and didn't hold it the right way on the second one, but that's alright. Still looks okay. And now we're on to the heat treat portion, and I just want to show you what my forge looks like. It's really freaking cool. It's cool even normally when the burners are just going, but it kind of almost explodes when I turn the propane on and light it, because it just ignites the propane that's already in the air for just a tiny little split portion of a second. But here you can see it pretty well. It's cool looking. First, for the heat treat, I'm going to start by annealing it, which is the process of heating it up and then letting it air cool. It can help stabilize the steel after it getting heated unevenly before in the forging process. I know I didn't forge this blade, but just from the way it was made in the factory and getting hot on the grinder and stuff, it's not probably necessary for something I didn't forge, but it can still help. I really like the way it looks cooling down on the time lapse. It's sitting on an anvil surface, and if you pay attention, the heat kind of moves and disperses throughout the steel as it cools off. It's pretty cool. Once it gets to this really low color, it spreads from the handle back into the bottom of the blade. It's just kind of cool to look at. So I did 3 cycles of annealing, normalizing, whatever. And then after that, I'm going on to the actual quench portion. I have this piece of steel in my forge because it's got 3 burners, and if one part of the knife is sitting under one burner and then another part under another burner, it can heat unevenly and be kind of weird looking. So this little piece of steel I have in here helps keep that from happening too badly. It heats it more evenly. When I pull it out of the forge here, it doesn't seem hot enough, and it's not, but I have to pull it out and then move my camera to the oil so you see it's hotter now. I'm quenching in vegetable oil, which isn't preferred. I would rather use something like sunflower oil or motor oil. I used to use motor oil, but then I had a bit of an accident where I started the surface of it on fire. Had to use a fire extinguisher to put it out, which contaminated the oil. And this is just a temporary fix, and you can see I got the blade nice and hard here. Passing the file test with flying colors. I just love doing that. I love doing the file test. It's very satisfying. Then, after I'll set my tongs down here, I move on to the temper. Gotta give a thumbs up too, of course. And you can see I did the first cycle, 425 for 2 hours, and then 450 for an hour and a half. I'm not super experienced with heat treating. I don't really know what I'm doing in a lot of cases, but I've heard that can work alright. Now I'm buffering the steel after I tempered it because the customer said he didn't want me to remove the blackened blade. He didn't want me to make it shiny, so just keeping it black and buffering it, making it nice and cool looking. Show it off here in a second. Some of the colors tempering and quenching gives blades are really cool, especially the second side, all those splotches there. Love the way that looks. Another thumbs up, of course. Now I'm coating it in mineral oil. I was going to start to say something, but I've heard mineral oil can help preserve blades, help keep them from rusting a little bit, and it's also food safe, which I know you're not going to be using a karambit to cook or anything, but just in case, you know. And all of the knives I've done to this point, except for this karambit now, have had normal glued on wood handles, but not this one. The customer said he wanted it to be paracord, which is a first for me, but I think it turned out alright. You'll see the result after I'm done. There was a lot of trial and error in the process. My fingers were fairly tired afterwards, and I actually didn't end up keeping the same knot pattern I saw in a YouTube tutorial video. I did the same thing, except I would twist it around and pull it tight instead of just doing it normally. And because it's my first paracord handle, I didn't really know what I was doing, and pattern may be a little uneven in some areas. And you can see it's not perfectly centered, which I'm not exceptionally happy about, but that's alright. Still pretty freaking comfortable to hold on to, if I've got to be honest. I don't know that I've ever really held a good paracord handle knife. Didn't realize it could be this good. I drilled a hole there so I can thread the paracord through and tie a knot, just to keep it secured in place so it doesn't come undone on its own. And again, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but seem to have turned out alright. Cut it with a knife here, and then right after I'll burn the ends with blowtorch. By the way, if you think I should keep doing voiceovers, let me know in the comments. And if you think I should keep doing videos the way I did the one with the gut hook, where it's just the making process with music in the background, also let me know. Honestly, I kind of prefer talking because I can point out stupid stuff I may have done in the video that you might not have noticed or whatever, but yeah, just let me know. And here I've given another thumbs up, of course. Now I'm on to sharpening. I just finished the handle. And the guard, not the guard, but the tool rest on the belt grinder wasn't secured here, so you can see it just slowly moving inwards in the time lapse. And it started to make a rattling noise, so I just removed it altogether. Now I'm moving on to the stropping belt. It's really nice. I just ordered a $50 leather belt off Amazon, and now it's really easy to get shaving sharp edges. Super convenient. And my camera kind of sucks. It doesn't focus live, so I have to set the focus before I start recording and then record. Here I'm testing the edge on my forearm, on my arm hair. It's sort of hard to see, but it shaves pretty freaking easily. And I'm a little sunburnt because I've been going to the pool a lot. And I don't have very much arm hair left because I sharpen a lot of knives, but what you could see seemed to work alright. It's a little goofy looking towards the bottom of the bevel and towards the top of the handle. There's just a lot of room there, but I think it looks alright. Here I'm cutting down some corn stalks. In a little bit you'll be able to see my hair. Hair reveal, 150 subscribers. Right after this, I will carve a stick, and then after that, I take some pictures and some B-roll. And the B-roll and pictures were taken at this little swamp area on my dad's farm. That's really good for pictures, honestly, but I took my four-wheeler down there, and I had the Karambit and this wooden knife case. It's not on YouTube yet, but it will be at some point. Both in my sweatshirt pocket, and I had to drive through a cornfield, actually bean field, who cares, to get there. And on the way, when I got there, the Karambit was no longer in my front pocket, and it fell out into a cornfield. And I got really worried, and so I probably spent a solid 2 hours searching the field for it. And I finally found it just laying in some dirt. My heart just completely dropped when I realized. I took this B-roll on my phone in slow-mo mode, and it worked okay, but for some reason, from transferring it, the quality got completely nuked, so it's just kind of blurry and bad looking, but pictures make up for it right after. But yeah, anyway, we're up to the end of the video now. Let me know if you enjoyed, like and subscribe. See you in the next one.